Hey everyone, Core here. And it's that time of the week again. Well, at least during the summer, it seems like it's time for another midnight review. Granted, it is early morning. But this week I went to go see Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows, which is quite a mouthful to say the least. Um, the one thing I do want to mention is that I did like the first one, even though it seemed like a lot of people didn't, which I could see why. No, the designs and the way they changed a lot of stuff and Megan Fox, which she does a pretty good job, to say the least. I know I did a review on it back 2 years ago. Yeah, sounds about right. But yeah, it seems like it's kind of had the same, just like the Transformers movies, where they focused around they focused around the humans more than the Autobots. That was kind of how the first one was, and it did suck, but they did actually show quite a bit. They had their action scenes and everything like that. Granted, they did have Megan Fox kind of help and all that stuff. Which in this one they do have the humans and characters, the companions help. Introducing Casey Jones, which is a new introduction. I don't think they've done this story before with him, um, and it's interesting to see his background. But granted, he's not as much of a sports fan as in the comics, and the cartoons, and all the other good stuff. um, but he focuses mostly on hockey, which does kind of give the origin of his mask. It's a hockey mask, pretty much gone to the extreme. But yeah, it's definitely it's man, this movie they kind of give the fans what they want, and it's more turtles doing awesome stuff. It's pretty much the scene from the first one where they're going down the mountain after, you know, getting after Raph breaks his brothers free, and they're heading into the town, trying to stop the Shredder from spreading the toxin and everything. So that scene is the best part in that movie, and this movie had this movie has several of those. Um, and they're all great. Granted, some of them are they're a little short for sure. I wish they were longer, but get what you get. And I do gotta say, this movie is pretty much the definition of a summer blockbuster. It's big, explosive. It is a Michael Bay production, which yeah, it shows. But it's one of those things that overcomes, you know, your expectations in a way. It doesn't go over exaggerate like how a lot of people think of Michael Bay. Um, Pretty much explosions, sexy women, fire, military stuff. There are some of that, but not too much. Military's kind of cut down a little bit. Police, but still not too bad. Um, Explosions are there, of course, and they look amazing, to say the least. And the characters all have their due time. Um, they do try to draw out more story, but it's not the main focus. It's action, of course. Like I said, it's a summer blockbuster. Story's not that big, not that important at least. Uh, so they do draw out the family, their inner turmoil and everything, which is cool to see because that's kind of a big thing about the turtles. But they don't focus on it too much. They get pretty much past it pretty fast, and this movie just starts off running pretty much. It jumps right into a nice action scene. It tells you what's been going on for the last year, pretty much who's been taking credit for the turtles' action, stopping the shredder and the foot. So that's really cool to see, and these action scenes are amazing. They're steady, which I love steady action scenes. You can actually tell what's going on. It's not just fast, 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 fast. Blurs here and there, uh, because the turtles are mostly CG. Well, pretty much all CG, especially during the fight scenes. So they don't have to hide the slowness, the mistakes, the speeding ups, the edits, anything like that to make it look more intense because they can design them. They could, you know, set them up so their actions and moves are already intense and incredible, to say the least. And it's really cool. They redesigned them a little bit, made them a little less bulky, a little more slender, not as big as the previous ones, which is really cool to see that they actually listen to some of the fans saying that they were quite big. in the first one, and this one they kind of toned them down a little, changed them up a little bit. So it's really cool to see that. Bebop and Rocksteady are really funny. They're just two knuckleheads just having fun, pretty much, and causing mayhem. And it just all happened to help out the Shredder, and Shredder likes them enough to turn them into their Rhino and Warhawk counterparts, which they have some pretty funny scenes here and there. And they get their due. They definitely get, a nice skirmish with the turtles and get a little bit of one up on them, before something else happens. But yeah, man, it's like scene after scene after scene. There's maybe like 10 minutes that are talking, and that's just setting up for the next big fight scenes and all that stuff. So it's really fun. I gotta say, it's the definition of fun. It might be my movie this year that's pure entertainment. That's it. It's fast. It's quick. It's an hour and a half. It's just entertaining for sure. Uh, yeah, critics don't like it, but who cares what the critics think? Granted, I guess you could say I'm a critic too, because I am critiquing the movie, but I know what the movie is, and that's a blockbuster film. It's a popcorn movie. You watch it just for the action, pretty much. You don't care what the story is as long as it's not too stupid, which it's not. It's a turtle story, but it's not too deep as some of the other stories. It's a lot more abridged in a way, so they could definitely get down to the action scenes, the fight scenes, and everything like that pretty quick. And everyone does a good job. I've really grown to the voices of the new turtles. Um, Compared to, of course, everyone remembers the cartoons, um, the first live action movies, even the CG movies. So it's really cool to hear another voice, and those voices actually fit pretty well with these turtles and their personas and everything. So that's really cool to see. I love it. Um, but man, there's just so much action. It's just so much fun. Uh, Definitely see it if you want just an entertaining, fun movie. Watch it if it comes out. If you like the turtles at all, definitely go see it. What else? Shredder, not as big a part as before, but he does seem like they're setting something up for this a third movie. So anxious to see. And of course, if you've seen the trailers, you know who's in it. Krang is in it, and his robot is pretty cool. It's actually kind of funny. His voice isn't quite as whiny, wimpy, and clicky, I guess you could say, as like this cartoon counterpart or any of his other versions. He's more badass, kind of like the Ninja Turtles cartoon where they go in time and space and all that stuff. He's pretty badass. He's actually no pushover. Slaps Shredder around a little bit with his slimy tentacles, which is probably going to be some art out there that I do not want to see. But yeah, it's definitely a great movie. Krang does, you know, impose a pretty threatening persona, and his robot's really cool. He has a lot of attachments. They pretty much made him a toy. He even talks like a toy collector, which, yeah, he's kind of like the collector from Marvel, which is kind of funny, but he actually does a little bit more, I guess you could say. He actually gets his hands dirty for sure. But yeah, it's a fun movie. I recommend it. Definitely go watch it if you like the Turtles at all. Go have fun. But until next time, guys, next week it's going to be a big one. And it's going to be Warcraft. That should be interesting. So until next time, guys, later.